Okay, we're ready. So thank you, Tamami,
Yes, of course.
today. It is so interesting to hear people's stories about participating in the work, learning the work, doing the work. And I realize even though I've known you, I don't know anything about how you found the work and what happened and why you kept going. Because you're a certified facilitator too. So you loved it. That means you're really into it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So say a little bit about your story. What was it like when you first? What were you like when you first were in that time, and then running into the work? What happened?
Yeah, so how I got to know about the work was I really liked Eckhart Tolle. And so I was going to monthly meetup.
Yeah.
And then I met a couple people who has been to Byron Katie school, 9 days school.
Very cool. Got
And
it.
so they were talking about, the work is powerful, and if you want to try, I can facilitate you. And so I tried.
And did you try? Do you mean you tried like just with one of those people?
Mm-hmm.
You did the work with them? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So then my first impression, that was about 11 years ago, my first impression was like, oh gosh, I hate it.
I love that. What was the thing you hated the most?
Well, I felt like I was being challenged.
Oh.
Because what I'm believing, somebody's asking me, is it true? My, I guess, ego wanted to say, like, of course it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you talking about? Yeah. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. So I said to myself, like, oh gosh, the work of Byron Katie stuff isn't for me.
Wow.
I'm not gonna do it.
Oh my gosh.
That was my first experience of the work.
Wow. So my goodness. So how did you bump into it again then? I mean, what happened?
Yeah, so I had a lot of life happens. A lot of things happen in my life in a really short period of time. Like consecutively, I just had like my father's death and a bunch of other stuff happened within a really short period of time. And I realized like I was severely depressed.
Wow.
And I couldn't get up.
Oh. Now, where were you? At a meetup? You must have been in California somewhere here in this country. You weren't in Japan.
No, I was actually in Seattle at the time.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah. So meetup group was in Seattle.
Ah, got it.
And then my husband and I moved back to California, Los Angeles. And then my depression got worse there. And one day I went to a bookstore and I was like, well, I have to read some self-improvement book. So I walk into the bookstore. There used to be a store called the bookstore.
You used to go to a store, yeah, that sold books.
Yeah.
Right.
And then so there she was. Katie was right there.
Wow.
And I was like, well, I'm gonna have to try it. So I grabbed a book, Loving What It Is. And I read it within 3 days. I just couldn't put it down. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. I had the same kind of thing. I couldn't put it down either. Yeah. Did you feel like you then understood, like when you're reading it, you kind of got the "is it true" question, like that when you were in the middle of from reading the book?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got it. I got that. It's not about challenging me. It's about just the pause in the moment, like, just gives me a pause to really think, like, really, like, is
Yeah.
it really true what I'm believing, So I felt really differently by reading a book.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's great. So then what happened?
And then in the book explains about 90 days school.
Uh-huh.
And then Katie just happened to have a school in Los Angeles. It's
Oh,
right, like a driving distance from my house.
wow. Amazing.
Yes. And so I was like,
Yeah.
well, I have to go. You know, it's so easy. It's right there. I have to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
So
Of course.
so I went. I went to school.
Yeah. And then when you were there, what was one significant, shift, if you can find one, but just, like your experience of being at that school?
So first 2, 3 days, I felt like I wasn't getting it.
Uh-huh.
Everybody was getting and everybody was giggling and having a good time, and I was like, oh gosh, I made a mistake and I should go home. I can go home just by driving. I don't have to get on a plane,
Right.
right? So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I should go home, or maybe one more day. And I think it's like a fourth day or so, I was questioning about my back pain.
Ah, wow.
Yeah, because I herniated my disc,
Ah, uh-huh.
and then I couldn't sit for a very long time at the
Uh-huh.
time,
Uh-huh.
and so I was in pain attending a 9 days school because we have to sit. Well, we don't have to sit, but I was sitting a
Yes.
lot of times,
Uh-huh.
and so I wrote the worksheets about my back pain, like as if back pain was a person.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful. Yeah. Wow.
And somebody was facilitating me, and as she was facilitating me and I was answering the question, I started feeling like lightness, of like pain. I felt like a pain just started dissipating little by little, like I felt it in my body.
Wow.
And that was the most powerful thing, because I actually felt it in my body.
That's really amazing. That's beautiful. Yeah. Like a physical experience of, were you questioning, I have pain, like something that direct, or do you,
No, so back pain as a person. So I am angry with my back pain
yeah.
because my back pain gives me trouble or something like that.
Yeah. 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 Wow.
Yeah.
And then did the pain stay, like, did it come and go, or did it recede and then stay down?
I think, comes in, it came in and went, and then every time I started going to the path of like, oh gosh, what does it mean? That means I have to restrict my movement, blah, 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 blah. All the stories pouring in. And so I started asking questions. Is it true? Is it true?
Wow.
And then I started finding, no, it's not true, you know?
That is really amazing. That's beautiful. Yeah. I've loved hearing and reading what Byron Katie's saying about pain, and like just sitting with it, because it's kind of sometimes it doesn't have, yeah, the edge is very moving, with pain. It's really interesting. It comes and goes, or you get distracted and you don't feel it anymore, and then you feel it again. And yeah.
And also, I really understood this body. I don't own this body,
Uh-huh.
and the body has its own business, its own rhythm.
Uh-huh.
So I don't control.
Yes.
Like I am just go along with the body.
Right.
Like
Right.
I really got that
Wow.
business thing.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so cool that you did that and just in the middle of that
Yeah.
first school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful. Then what was it like for you? And you could share more about being at the school because it's so powerful, but anything like upon leaving and then going into your life, what effects did you notice from questioning your thoughts for 9 days like that?
Well, like I started seeing like, oh my God, what I have believed for all my life may really not be true. That was really scary,
Uh-huh.
fleeing at the same time, but I was more experiencing fear
Very interesting. Yes.
because I built a wall around me.
Uh-huh.
And so like what does it mean? Like if I keep questioning, that means I'm gonna have to remove all the walls. And what does it mean? Like, are they gonna come in my life and what's gonna happen? Like so like unknown terrified me.
Wow. I love your sharing that. It's it's very profound. Like it's not, in other words, we're not talking about just having some kind of experience of you do the work and everything's, daisies, flowers or something or
Yeah, sparkling and stars.
right, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I have had those moments, but those are moments.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's same thing as comes and goes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is really something. Yeah. Feeling like I get it. I've experienced the same thing. Anything that I'm ever like, if my mind is not to be like relied on, if I can't rely on what I've thought or
Mhm.
decided about something or know what to stay away from, or move towards, it's kind of like, what is going on? What am I doing? What do I do here? It was just I've had that same kind of thing too, kind of a
Mhm.
disconcert.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So then so at that point I knew I had a choice to keep asking questions and see how it goes. And so I chose to just keep going. And sometimes fear just disappeared, and sometimes I'm like washed all over with fear, and
Wow.
it's like I'm in terror. I can't move. Those moments, and at the same time, like we were told, just joking about sparkling moment, like stars everywhere. Those moments came like mixed together. So I was just really curious and be open about. I'm just gonna dive in and just keep going. And then soon I realized like responsibility, like like what's my responsibility in any situation. So if I'm removing this wall and inviting people in, what's my responsibility there?
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
And then would you just sort of like notice what's my responsibility? And do you mean like this is what my business is? Or even seeing what do I believe my responsibility is?
No, it's more like if I'm in, if I choose to let the people in,
Ah,
this is my responsibility.
yeah,
It's my choice to let the people in.
yeah,
Other than people are out there to get me.
yes.
No, no, no. It's not that. It's I chose to let these people in. see how it goes.
Yes. Excellent. Yeah. Yeah. Which is a strange, it sounds uh like sometimes the words for that, it's almost as if you have more power, and it's not power like I'm in control and I'm in charge, because there feels like there's less of that, but there's a sense of empowerment by what you're mentioning, like in a good way. Like
Mm-hmm.
I am standing on, I can say yes or no or respond. I can
Mm-hmm.
respond. Yeah.
And also responsibility is coming from before the work. I was always pointing finger at everybody else, like, so and so said it, and she made me feel this way, right? But
Yeah.
then as I was questioning, that's where the new responsibility that I started experiencing.
Uh,
It's not about them, it's about me, how I feel. This is my responsibility.
wow.
So it's everything started becoming inward. So that's where I really started feeling like I started learning new meaning of responsibility,
Beautiful. Yeah.
how I relate to the world.
Yes. Yes. Wow. So, what was one thing that you began noticing, if any, that kind of came back around that you might? Has there been anything that you noticed has been a like sort of pointed to an underlying belief or something you notice? Oh, there's that thought again. I have it maybe in a different situation with a different person, or anything like that. Something that you notice you've stayed with that's been, or a person that you kept doing the work on. I always find that interesting to ask.
Yeah. Gosh, there's so many things. So like I had really tough childhood as I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So depression was always part of me. And so as suicidal ideation was part of me.
Mm-hmm.
And so still to this day, when I'm very overwhelmed or something, life happens. So that's where my mind goes.
Ah.
Like, oh, what if I just end my life?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And now it pops up,
Uh-huh.
really casually, like lightly.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm like, oh, there you go again. There. Like that. It's so like I started having a new relationship with that idea of terminating my life,
Uh-huh.
you
Wow.
know.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So I used to try to get rid of those thoughts like really hard. And, I was using the work to get rid of. I was
Uh-huh.
thinking that that's what I could do.
Uh-huh.
But now I realized that, okay, I don't have any controls over what am I going to believe or what am I going to be thinking. But next time it shows up, I can just meet them where they are.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes I do believe, and then sometimes I can just laugh about it and it's like, oh, there you go again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I don't know. There's something wonderful about, one of my favorite things about the work is that almost the first step is to be incredibly honest, just very, very honest, and petty and judgmental and ridiculous and whatever, all that. And like having that thought, or just noticing your kind of defensive patterns or something
Mm-hmm.
like that one, you know, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I could always kill myself, in the background. It's just, I love you just that you said that.
Yeah.
I will sometimes have like a thought, well, I can always just get a job as a bus driver. like I don't know, it just comes in like in completely like not even related to doing work or earning money or anything, but it's like I could just do that and be just you know, do that and I don't know, like do this very, very simple task. Like I don't have to figure anything out at all.
Well, bus driver, I feel like very technical.
Yeah, true. I know.
I can do that.
Right. Well, not exactly easy. That's a good point. Uber driver.
Yeah, something. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's funny. Yeah. Isn't it funny the mind like it just jumping to, you know, I know and it has these ideas, you know, to like that like a strategy to handle something and, you know, just funny. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes I feel like not enough and comparing myself to others, you know, mind always compare. And I feel like, oh gosh, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And then I just catch myself judging, you know, whoever I'm comparing myself to. And I'm judging. And I used to shame myself for judging.
Uh-huh.
Now I say, okay, you want to judge this person now. Let's do it.
I love that. It's so great.
Yeah.
Fun.
Let's do it. Yeah. Let's do it until you know you had enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah. So that's like I'm I don't know, I'm just one with what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is really, it's such an ongoing experience. That's what I find. Somebody was telling me recently that I think she's been doing the work for about a year and she said she's kind of sick of it, you know? And I've definitely had that thought before. Like, oh, you know, and then I'm not even making myself. I just kind of, but I come back, I'm like, oh, I could sit here and do the work. Oh, maybe I'll do the work on that, you know, on something. And it comes and I'm so intrigued and I like the openness of, you know, the mind opening up about something that I just love that. But I get, you know, that's just another thought. It's the same about the work itself. Same.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so you went to your first school and there's been these wonderful things. I love that you shared that. What's it been like since then? You know, just, or maybe points or your participation in the work or what you've done more as time has passed. Cause that's about 10 years, 11 years, you said, since the school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So first 2 years or so, I was addicted to the work.
That's great. All the time.
Yeah, I was doing that every single day. I had a partners exchanging the work every single day.
Yeah.
And I joined a certification to become Institute for the Work, ITW, to become a certified facilitator. And then I finished all the requirements within like a year and 6 months or something.
That's fast.
I was just doing it. I was on the mission. I was doing it.
Yes. Wow.
And then like I started, I still do question my thoughts every single day, but it's more like relaxed form that I think I came up with something that would work for me.
Huh.
Instead of sitting on the desk and writing a judge or neighbor worksheet, you know.
Yeah.
Like I often use app.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then do the work quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
It's nice to find your own way, you know, your own path with it. I definitely have gone through phases that like that too, where I'm I'm writing it down, and I kind of had the shorthand, like, you know, when you say HDIR question mark, and then, you know, you write how you react. How do I react when I believe? But slowing it down. And if something's sort of persistent, then for sure a judge your neighbor worksheet. Definitely, you know. I liked that regular partnering. I did that for 2 years as well. It was just once a week, but I got on the phone with my partner for 2 hours every Monday. And it was just absolutely fantastic. It's, oh, how about this? You know, like together, we're, all right, now we're doing her situation, then we do my situation, then we do her. And just so much time, very thorough. Just sitting, it was so fantastic. You know, in a 2-year period, you cover a lot.
Yeah.
So much. Things happen, but then also your past, you know, very interesting. That was really, really, really powerful. Yeah.
Well, I met somebody, I met amazing friends over the years, but one of them, I met her at my first school, and we are still exchanging facilitation once a week.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know each other so well.
Isn't that right? Right. That is like in itself, you know, just connecting with a person, another person. You can do this work, of course, on your own, but something about someone else hearing your most horrible thoughts, your unedited thoughts. There is, I think it's an incredible shame dissolver. Much shame about hiding what you think, and that's an amazing thing. Just with one person, you know. That's fantastic. I have somebody that I met at my first school, and I talked to her. We exchange a phone message where you leave the message and then you hang up the phone. You just leave a voicemail every single day on our thoughts.
Oh wow!
Daily, and we didn't start it immediately after the school, because first we just were doing the work together sometimes, and then we'd come back and do the work. If we had something going on, it was definitely like a primary partner, and then somewhere along the way, it's like, and we might do it live and do the work, but we're just like call each other, so it doesn't matter what time, because she's in a different time zone, and you just, you know, say, these are my thoughts today. Here's what I'm thinking. You know, this, I could wonder if it's true. I mean, you just speak it. And so somebody else in the world is hearing the same thing. Like, I feel like she did so well. Yeah. It's awesome. Yeah. Very cool. Thank you, Tamami. It's wonderful. Anything you want to share about what you do now? I mean, you have a little bit, but just how the work's running in you now?
Well, gosh, like, I don't know, but I'm really interested in moving the work in the teenage population. So, you know, Rachel is doing Thinking Project.
Yes, I love.
So I would love it to bring that piece in Northwest.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Imagine knowing as a teenager that you could question your thoughts. I mean, amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You work with some teenagers, yeah?
Yeah, I work with teenagers as a therapist, so I wear different hats. So I don't do the work. I do different things for therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I love teenagers. I mean, yeah, I love kids. They're amazing.
Yeah, they are. It's funny. I worked with quite a few girls, especially with eating disorders, because that was my history. And their mothers will usually find me, and then the girls start coming because they want to do something a little bit different, or and do the work and
Mm-hmm.
people. And but sometimes it looks different. It doesn't look like they're writing down a judge your neighbor worksheet. That hardly ever happens with the teenagers. But we're still, when you have the work, I'm sure you have this. It's like, well, is that actually true? Are you completely sure? The conversation is so, it's like a work conversation. You're having a conversation that is the work.
Yeah, it's already 4 questions are embedded in my like DNA, so to
Yes.
speak.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. Yeah, yeah. And there is something wonderful about they're telling their story.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about. I think about one girl that I worked with this week. She tells her stories about the different boys. There's this boy, and then there's this other boy, and being heard openly for the story. So it's not like we're saying, don't tell your story, just only focus on the work, but it's in the conversation, in the telling of it, I'll say, well, now that's a really good one. Is that actually true? It just feels very alive, and yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I think Rachel came up with this, like, have kids write stressful thoughts and ask them to come up with 2 unknown facts.
Oh,
Isn't that amazing language to use?
yeah, that's really cool. 2 unknown facts.
Yeah, so I ask clients, like, hey, can you come up with unknown facts, what you were just talking about? And they can always find something. Well, I'm not sure about this, I'm not sure about that, I guess those are unknown facts.
That is very cool. That's really good. Do you have a specific example that you remember? It's okay if you don't.
Probably I shouldn't say it.
Yeah. Yeah. Privacy. Right.
Yeah.
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 That's great though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, kids are amazing.
Yeah, they are.
Oh my God, they're so open,
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Wow.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, Tamami. Thank you. Thanks for the work you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for doing amazing work that you do. That you do amazing work in this community. Oh my God.
Thank you, Tamami. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, thank you for asking me for this interview. It was really fun.
Yes. Just wonderful. I really appreciate it. And I know people are always so curious, and they love hearing about how the work unfolds in people's lives. So awesome.
Cool.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.